While the presidential race has kept Benghazi in the limelight as politicians look for accountability. Now, the attack that led to the deaths of a U.S. ambassador and 3 other Americans in 2012 is the focus of a movie set to hit theaters soon. And 2 key players who are featured in that film are from right here in southern Colorado. News 5's Greg Dingrando tonight with an exclusive look at their story.
September 11th, 2012, Benghazi, Libya. A deadly attack on the American consulate, now a Hollywood movie.
It was pretty intense.
Security contractors for the CIA, Fountain, Colorado native John Tigan and Mark Geist of Colorado Springs, were just up the road.
By the time we had got the call, they'd already been on the run. That's how we learned they were under attack.
Their team, ready and willing, told to wait.
On multiple occasions, the chief of base told us not to go when we should have.
But the cries for help kept coming.
RSO gets on the radio and says, hey, if you guys don't get over here, we're all going to die. We immediately just took off. We didn't ask for permission again or get on the radio and say, hey, we're leaving. We just took off.
Moments later, they were right in the middle of chaos.
First thing you see is just the building's just completely engulfed in flames.
They fought their way inside and quickly found the body of staff member Sean Smith, but Ambassador Christopher Stevens was nowhere to be found. As they loaded Smith's body and helped the 5 other statesmen into vehicles, they were attacked again.
Probably about a good 10-15-minute fight.
Gunfire followed them all the way back to the CIA annex, but they lived and saved lives. Geist says the terrorists were armed with AK-47s and RPGs, one of which exploded right next to him.
As I was coming up to get my weapon back in, trying to get it back up to shoot, that's when I realized that my arm was kind of hanging off at a 90-degree angle.
But for 2 members of his team, the injuries were much worse.
I mean, 2 of my friends, right beside me, the ambassador and Sean Smith.
They believe those orders to wait were a critical mistake.
To me, that caused the death of the U.S. ambassador and Sean Smith. Because if we'd have gone immediately, they would not have had a chance to light the buildings on fire.
Which is what killed Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith. Both died from smoke inhalation. Days later, the 4 dead Americans were brought home to American soil.
And then there's still, like I said, there's still some shrapnel in there.
More than a dozen surgeries later, Geist says he can finally move his hand again, but the pain remains.
It's also a reminder of those that we lost, the 4 Americans that we lost, and I'll remember it, and it'll be a part of me forever.
What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again.
With former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton under scrutiny and on the campaign trail, the politics of it all doesn't sit well with these former soldiers.
And the story was just like totally way off. For me, it was a lot of anger seeing how things were getting spun.
Their version, this book called 13 Hours. It hits the big screen in January.
So it was pretty realistic to what we saw and what we told them.
There's already people criticizing it. Oh, it's a Michael Bay. There's going to be a lot of explosions. Well, I can tell you, I was there that night. There was a lot of explosions.
And their actions come with no regrets.
Because you're not going to just leave an American in danger when you know you can go make a difference for their life.
Any hesitation?
No.
None whatsoever.
Critics have called these men liars, saying they're just out to make money, but they say that's not the case at all. They both wanted to keep working, but thought getting the truth out there was more important. In doing so, their names went public, forcing them to quit. Rob and Lisa.
Greg, thanks. Powerful stuff. Our thanks to them for their service and sacrifice. The book that Greg mentioned, 13 Hours, already on bookshelves. The movie that it's based on hits theaters in January.